We here doing another podcast, and this one we're talking about dads in the club. I got two super special guests. We invited my dude S. Dot back into the building, and then I got my dude Doc with me from Orlando. We're here on location in Tampa doing the podcast. We're talking about dads in the club. We're talking about the challenges of pursuing your personal dreams while still trying to make the dreams of your family come true. Y'all say what's up to the people, man.
What's going on? It's Doc.
Yo, what's up? That's Doc back in the building.
Doc back in the building, yeah. And so what's funny about this, here's how the conversation even came about. So S. Dot and I were talking about how the conversation in the club has changed. So it used to go from, talking about, chicks in the club to... yeah, man, Trevor scored 10 points in his game last week. So the whole conversation has totally changed for me. I know. What about y'all? I mean, are you catching yourself being that old guy in the club? Not that y'all still club a lot, but when you go out, like, you're not like, talk to me about that.
Well, I'm still in the club every night.
As you should be.
Nothing's really changed. But part of what I do is the nightlife. So I definitely catch myself, from time. Actually, just this week, I had a guy that I play ball with. Me and my son play ball at this gym, and his son comes out, and so like we literally spent probably 45 minutes talking about that whole scenario. Oh man, you remember we gave them 30 last week? And you look up and it's like 20, 30 people like starting to come in the club and they're dancing. They got on club attire. Man, hey, but that step back is crucial, boy. So and you don't even pay attention to what's going on around you. It's like literally 4 chicks that just stepped out of Lamborghinis and
meanwhile,
naked, and we had
going to Lowe's. Right. Yeah. It's a new power drill coming out.
You're checking your phone. Baby, I'm on the way in. Hey, man, I gotta go, man. I gotta grab some milk on the way home.
Right, exactly. What about you, Doc? You actually used to own a nightclub, man. How's that for you now? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was crazy. We had a nightclub right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. Had it for about a year and a half, and it was really a concept club where we had every night something different. We wanted to really cater to everybody in the community. We had Latin, comedy, hip-hop, R&B, we even had spoken word, but man, I think I was more the man then than I am right now. But when we go to the club now, it's different, but it's the cool thing is that, so my oldest is 19.
Right.
And we all just went on a cruise, and everybody knows the cruise ship have their clubs on there that you can vibe out and rock to, and she wanted me to roll with her. We were on the dance floor. Dancing, so at 41, I'm still the cool dad.
Come on, man,
there
you go.
I'm still the cool dad, so like that's the beauty about it is like you get into these different phases of life, and you grow with your kids.
Man, that's awesome. See, that's what I'm talking about, man, because I'm in that stage now where people don't even invite me to the club anymore. You know what I'm saying? People just automatically assume, I look on Instagram or Facebook and I see people, zip lining and scuba diving, and I'm kind of in my feelings a little bit. I'm like, hey man, why you invite me? They be like, hey man, I know you got the kids and shit, man. I'd be like, really? You didn't even ask me, dog. Like I could have got a babysitter. But that's the stage that I'm in. So I'm looking forward to being able to be that dad, like you are with them, when y'all can kind of, vibe and bond on another level, man. So that's...
Yeah, to your point, I can tell you that. So my sister, she had her first baby.
Yeah.
She's 41 as well. She just had her first baby. And so what she's noticed is what I told her. I said, people are going to be on different pages of life at different times.
Different pages,
and your friends may not necessarily be on that same page when you go through certain things.
And it's not personal.
No, it's not personal. And you have to understand that. So she's already said that, like, to your point, there's been some invites that never came her way. She just found out about it on Facebook. Like, seeing people turned up in Vegas. Yeah. She would have gotten that call before, and that call doesn't come necessarily
you don't get that call, man.
Because
That's
people want to be respectful, but at the same time, you're still you're still you.
Yeah.
You want to get that. You want to feel included, especially you were part of that crew.
Exactly. I mean, and I guess the other thing too is, you got to understand, we were in their positions too before we had kids, right? I know before I had kids, I wasn't a huge fan of being around kids. You know what I'm saying? And then I got my own, and now all kids are, I'm like Trick Daddy. You know what I'm saying? I love everybody kids. You know what I'm saying? So it's totally different, once you become a father. So, you don't know what you don't know. Which kind of brings me to my next question. I mean, like, you don't even understand how much your life is going to change once you become a father. I mean, would you guys agree?
Yeah, it's weird. I think that when first, because you never look at, as you're going through it, as things changing.
Right, exactly.
And I don't know if you guys can probably say the same thing, but I know for me, if I was out, especially when they were younger, I'm out in the mall with my kids, or we're just going for. I would often go to the track, and we do a couple laps around the track. I'd be pushing one in the stroller, and my son would be running with me. But you would see people, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool, Dad spending time with his kids, and I'm like, why is it this like looked at as the norm? Like, what was I like? Right. What was I supposed to be doing?
You're a single dad. He's like, oh no, I'm not.
Well, regardless, it's just they're kind of looking at the situation like you're a dad doing stuff. Yeah. Because a lot of times it's often talked about that the deadbeat dad, or the dad's not around, or even if a dad stays in the house, right. He's still out. So it's like they're seeing Bigfoot when you're actually out, with your kid. Right. Like, oh wow, that's so cool. It's like, man, that's the norm. Like, for me, it was, how I grew up. Now, mind you, as far as relationships go, my family, my father's side was male dominant, and the one thing I did always see is the men be dads. The one thing I didn't see was them being dads in a relationship. We're not really great with the whole relationship aspect, but we're great with our kids. Yeah. So when people, go, oh, wow, look at this, it's kind of like, that's how I grew up. I've always known men, raising their kids. So that was the one thing that kind of shocked me, to just like to hear people say. Everything else, I think I've kind of expected. Nothing really caught me off guard as far as being a parent. But it was always weird, to get that, oh wow, look, that's so cool, I mean, you would have, women come up to you and just literally like, oh, that's great that you're spending time with your kids. Like,
you're like, they're my kids. Of course I am.
We're eating.
Right.
Trying to survive.
Why do you think that is, man? Why do you think that?
Because it's not normal. I didn't think of it not being normal until it was brought to my attention. But now that you look at it, and as an adult, we can say we know a lot. You know a lot more women that are have custody of their kids, and you don't know a whole lot of guys that are taking that role and responsibility in any way, shape, or form. So I just didn't look at it as not being normal, number one, because, as you're going through the process, a lot of your friends, even, your homeboys, if they have kids, they're kind of, probably like, trying to mask it, fear of, what Joe was talking about earlier, like, you're not getting invited to go play pickup, and so it's like, let me make sure I drop the kids, I got everything squared away, let me hit the fellas up, like, what y'all doing later on?
Trying to live in both worlds.
Yeah. So, I think that, a lot of it comes from, it's just not, and then it's not seen, after they took off, so much great stuff on television that showed, men and black men being fathers and being, involved in their kids' lives, and, replaced it with The Simpsons and all of that crazy stuff. It's like, you expect what you see,
Yeah, and to your point, Sean, I really, that hits home for me personally, because I didn't have a lot of positive role models in my family. My father got locked up for 8 years. All my brothers were in and out of trouble. And so I didn't have anything to go on except TV. So my role model was The Cosby Show.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Family ties, right.
The Huxtables actually showed me what family life could be like, because that's not what my home life looked like.
Yeah.
And so when I looked at that, I mean, that's why I eventually went on to get my doctorate. It was just because I looked at that and saw that that was kind of the expectation.
And it was
Inspired to
possible.
be.
Yeah, exactly.
It gave inspiration. So I think a lot of times we look at our environment and think that we're a product of our environment. But see, I have it all different. See, for me, I think that life is an equation. You know, you make your own choices. Your life is an accumulation of that math equation that you actually make choices on. So, are you going to add and multiply, or are you going to subtract and divide? So, my life has been focused on how can I add and multiply, and use my God-given talents to help others, and of course help.
I love that.
I think we got the same thought process on that. I talk to a lot of kids, every year, and my thing with all of it, regardless of where you're from, is like be what you see. If you only see drug dealers and basketball players, then that's what you want to emulate. But if somebody's putting an image in front of you, whether you come from a 2-parent home or single parent home in the projects, if somebody that mentor is coming around you and he's showing you that mentor is somebody that's actually doing something, then you aspire to be like. I'm just like you. When Cosby Show, different world made me want to go to college.
World, game changes.
Because it was like, oh, there's a black college and there's a lot of black people. Like, no, seriously, like, that wasn't like when we grew up. I'm from up north, so you got, if you don't get a college scholarship, you're going to work in a factory. And that was pretty much it. Either you got a scholarship to go to school, because it wasn't people talking about, I'm going to school. Like, you played a sport, or you were extremely smart and you got a scholarship, because other than that, that thought process wasn't there. I'm working at Jeep, I'm working at Chrysler, I'm working for the city.
Yeah.
Those were your aspirations, and then once those images came on television, it was like, okay, cool. This is like, I can do this. This is something that, like, Theo didn't play a sport. Wayne Wade wasn't, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, so but they're going to school,
Right.
like he never, so that was
cockroach didn't ball.
Right. Exactly. So it was like, okay, cool. If they can do it, and like you said, you're looking at like, the greatest, and I don't want to kind of deviate from, the dad stuff, but I guess this is still talking like, for all he wasn't, all Bill Cosby wasn't, Cliff Huxtable was the man. Cliff Huxtable made you say, okay, I can be a doctor and I can marry a lawyer and we can have a great family.
And we can laugh. And we can spend time with each other. Because I think one of the things, like, one of the things that I didn't realize as much, being a dad, is how much influence you have.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're impacting the next generation. Not only the next generation, you're impacting yourself. 50% of you are in your kids. So, like, you're doing stuff for your kids, but they are you. Through your kids, you live on. But one of the things that I didn't realize is that how much influence you can have. And I think a lot of dads and a lot of parents in general, they look to the school system to raise their kids. They look for law enforcement to raise their kids. Our kids, we teach them at home before they see it in school. So, like, my son is already on multiplication, and he's not going to see that until next year in school.
I love
you know what I'm saying? So one of the
That's
biggest
where it
things
starts, man. It starts in the home.
I have four letters that I use when I talk about the kids, and it's IQ and QT. As a parent, spending quality time with your kids and developing their IQ is probably the biggest responsibilities that you can have.
Yeah. Absolutely. And one of the things I was thinking about something Sean said earlier in terms of like your relationship with your kids, in terms of talking about maybe things that you didn't know before you became a father, the kind of love that kids give you back, which I think is part of what makes it so easy to have relationships with kids versus having relationships with adults, because kids, not only do kids tell you exactly what they're thinking, they show you what they're thinking, they show you what's on their mind, they tell you what's on their mind. When they come to the door, they run in. If they're in a great mood, they run in, they hug you, they jump on you, they scream daddy. If they're pissed off, they literally be like, nah. I mean, they will literally not even hug you when they walk in the door. You never have to guess. And I think that's how it's, that's one of the things that kind of makes it easy for parents to get lost in the parenting and, unintentionally neglect their spouse or people in their lives, right? Or your friends. Your friends are like, man, we keep trying to invite you out, and you're like, yeah, but Tim's got soccer. It's so easy to pour into them versus trying to pour into adults that have already gone through X, Y, and Z in life. Would you guys agree as it comes to that, man?
I think it's like what Doc said. I think you get to the point where you see so much of yourself and so much of the potential that you
That's exciting.
in your kids. So you can look at your kids sometimes and be like, wow, that's me. Like like you can. I mean, and my son when he was younger, he used to always catch me doing this. Like I would just be staring at him.
What's your deal, man?
Like,
What's your deal, bro?
What's up? Right. Like, nah, man. Like you just funny to me. Like
yeah.
What? I'm funny looking. No, it's just funny to like look at you and see
your reflection.
Yeah, you are me.
But to see so much of so much of yourself in them, and it's funny and scary at the same time because like your kid just knows what they see of you. You know your flaws. You know
you're crazy.
Well, I mean, you know everything that you're capable of, everything that you've done, and your fear is like,
ooh, yeah.
Wow. I mean, because this is, I guess, going to be the joking part of everything. My son is so much like me when it comes to athletics, but is so much like his mom when it comes to pretty much everything else. My daughter is just getting into athletics, but she's so much like me on a lot of other things. Now, mind you, in my younger days, I was a hoe. So my theory is my son didn't take on me straight. So I'm making sure I keep her around some type of basketball. You don't want to deal with boys. No, but it's
that's real talk.
It's just funny, like where as an adult, like whether or not that happens, you just kind of instantly go to, okay, well they've taken so much of this, on this personality, right? What else did you get? And for the record, like, hoe is such a bad. I was just
social.
That's it.
She's gonna edit that out anyway. Right. Edit that out anyway. You can say what you want.
And he's not.
No, because that was awesome.
No, but you're right, Joey.
Very real. And of course, I have 3 daughters for that very reason.
Yeah.
So
that was the other
I drink
thing.
a lot of wine. You know what I'm saying?
But to your point, it's like you do pour so much into your kids, and then how much do you have left at the end of the day? So, like, my wife and I, we made a couple promises. One, that we were going to have dedicated us time periodically, and one big trip throughout the year. Yeah. So we usually go away for a week. We just focus on us. No
refill.
Kids. Yeah. Refresh, refill, and re-energize and reconnect, really. Because a lot of times your kids get older, you've grown apart, you haven't spent that time together, so we do that. And I think that was one of the learning lessons that I had as well, because I never really saw my parents do that. Yeah. And so to maximize time, because we're all busy, we have full-time jobs, what we do is we utilize the weekdays sometime to periodically break it up. On the weekends, the kids want to spend time with us, but on the weekdays, 8 o'clock, we put them to bed. We have our 19-year-old watch their younger siblings. She
I've got to get one of those.
Yeah. she has to earn her keep. It's like regulators. Right. So she has to earn her keep, and she helps us out. We pay her every once in a while. But she gets clothes.
Here, baby, take these Oreos.
She gets food, clothing, and shelter. But she helps to break up some of the time so we can go out after the kids go to sleep. She just holds down the house, watches them, and then we can go out and do some mommy and daddy stuff.
Yeah. Mommy and daddy time is definitely very, very important. That's what's up, man. One time for S. Dot and Doc dropping some knowledge for the dads. I mean, they gave us so much. We got to do a part 2.
I'm so dead serious.
So come back and listen to part 2.
Dead.